Hey everyone, how's it going? Today's video is going to be about me getting my generator fixed and getting this snowblower, doing some maintenance on both the generator and the snowblower so I can deal with the snow this winter. It's something I haven't had to deal with for a long time. And unfortunately for me, the generator's been kind of out of commission for a while, so it's more than past due to get fixed. So I'm gonna pull it out, get it unburied a little there, and move it into the center of the garage where hopefully I can get a good shot of it. And we'll get into it. So catch you guys in the next one. And today's assistant cameraman is going to be a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket. Alrighty, so I'm going to be performing my first service on my Harbor Freight generator. And this Harbor Freight wagon, I can't recommend it enough. It's the perfect accessory for the generator. This thing's really heavy and you'll definitely need a hand getting it on here the first time, but it is unbelievably easy to move around with this wagon. I love it. I thought it was a great choice for this. And I have some really awesome plans for this. This is going to be my power wagon. I'm going to have the generator. I have an electric motor and some other parts, and I want to turn this into a weird little electric vehicle that's going to help me out in the wintertime. Basically, my strategy is I'm going to use the torpedo heater to keep me warm and plug it into the power wagon, and I want to be able to drive this thing around to wherever I need it so I can work within like a 50-foot cord to do whatever I have to do outside and keep myself warm with the torpedo heater while I do some snow blowing if I have to or whatever. And also I'm hoping the torpedo heater will actually melt a lot of the snow on the driveway and stuff and help out with that. So that's my basic strategy for attacking the winter as the winter attacks me this year. We'll see how it goes. But there's a lot of stuff I need to do to the generator. It's way overdue for an oil change, and also there's a gas leak in it somewhere. It took me a really long time to figure out that this was leaking, and if you've watched some of my other videos, me personally, I will never shut the gas off to a carbureted vehicle. I have my, that's my own personal choice and opinion. I feel like the problems you get from shutting the gas off aren't worth it, and in this case, I got burned. I lost a lot of gas out of the tank here. The garage smelled like fuel for a long time. I couldn't figure it out, and this is what it was. So a lot of this plastic or rubber, whatever, under here on the automatic choke is broken off. And I don't know where the gas leak is exactly, so I got to address that. That's one thing I need to address. And the other thing is the pull starter broke a long time ago. I've just had it tied around the top. And let's see what else. I'm also going to be charging up my capacitor battery and using that to start this. So I got to get that together. But for the most part, I've almost always used the pull start. And, this is a really good starting motor. I've replaced the spark plug. I think you should replace the plug right away if you ever get one of these. But other than that, other than this hiccup here, this thing has served me pretty well. I mean, I've had this carburetor apart. This is probably the third time I've had it apart, and it's the main reason why I leave the gas on. If you leave the gas off on this, basically gasoline's going to evaporate out of this carburetor, and then the float is going to stick, and then it won't start. That's what usually happens. whenever gasoline evaporates out of here, there's a chance that the jets get clogged. So me personally, I always leave the gas on, and unfortunately, this is actually the first time in my life this has ever burned me, where the gas drained out, and I have to fix it. But anyway, enough rambling about that. I'm going to turn this thing around. One really cool thing I noticed is it looks like you can drain the oil on both sides of the generator. So I'm going to turn it around. That's where the battery and the other stuff is that I have to work on is located. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Yeah, here's the oil drain on this side, and here's the dipstick. So before I get started, I'm going to check the dipstick and see how full the oil level is here. Alrighty, hopefully there's enough light and this comes out pretty good. It is a little dark underneath there, but yeah, here's the oil drain on this side, and here's the dipstick. So before I get started, I'm gonna check the dipstick and see how full the oil level is here. I don't know how well the camera is going to get that, but that's what it looks like, and the oil looks like it's in really good condition, which surprises me because this should have been changed out a long time ago. Alrighty, I got my oil pan set up underneath, and another thing I really love about this wagon is the expanded metal bottom, so I'll be able to drain the oil out of this just fine. And this is a 12 millimeter. Ooh, and that is stuck on there. First time it's ever been. Alrighty, I found the bolt for the oil drain. Oh, this is going to be hard to grab just this thing. Oh, I got it. I gotta say, this tool works pretty good. I think this is the first time I've used this tool. Most of the time I can't find it when I need it. So, yeah, I think next time I do this I gotta be a little more careful. But out of all the places for it to fall, it fell inside the channel inside the wagon. That's the luck I have. But no big deal. It looks like the oil's just about drained. So I'm going to go fill it up. I'm going to fill this up with 5 weight. That's, you know, everybody has their own preference. Personally, over the years, that's basically what I use for everything anymore, even a small engine like this. And the main reason why it doesn't bother me to use low weight oil in engines like this is because I have a Polaris 4-wheeler, and that runs 0 weight oil. Alright, so it looks like I overflowed it a little bit. I'm going to have to drain a little bit out. So definitely 1 quart. Just trying to top it off for a little bit there, and that was a bad idea. So I'm going to fix that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alrighty, so next up is the carburetor. I need to get all this stuff apart and see if there's an obvious reason why the gas leaked out, like maybe the fuel line's cracked or something. So I'm gonna take the air filter and the cover and all that stuff off so I can have a better look at it. So it looks like that's a 10 millimeter. I think 10 millimeter and 8 millimeter is the majority of what you're going to need for this. Get this stuff apart. It's been a while, so let's see if I can figure this out. And it looks like I got to take this bolt out to get the rest of that cover off. Alrighty, so it looks like 5/16 fits this. I can't seem to find an 8 millimeter. So just get this out, and looks like I need a deep well for that, or a socket, but I'll see if I can squeeze a wrench in there. Alrighty, so this carburetor was leaking. I'm going to look at the most obvious thing and check out the fuel line going to it, see if this is like got a tear or rip in it. It seems like it's on there good. So, and yeah, a little bit of fuel came out, so obviously not leaking there. So more than likely, my best guess is that the needle and seat on the float is open, and maybe there's a piece of crud in there preventing it from sealing, and everything probably leaked out the overflow, if I can find it. But one revealing thing is the rubber that went over the electric choke here is all dissolved. I guess all the gas would run down there, but something, definitely under here was leaking. And we'll see if we can find it. Put a little more bend on it. And there we have our carburetor. Oh, it looks like there's still some fuel in the bowl yet, too. I have no idea why this leaked out. I guess what I should do... Wow, look how rusty it is in there. That's not great. I guess what I should do is put it back on, hook up the fuel line, and put a little bit of fuel in the tank, see if I can get it to leak while I can look at it. But yeah, I covered the basics here. I would have thought there was a tear here, but yeah, you can see fuel coming out, so definitely not. And chances are, when I put this back together, I'm just going to leave that hose like that. It's just my personal preference. I'm sure it's not recommended, but I probably won't use this clamp here. A lot of times that's where your hose ends up developing a leak because it's crimped. These things crimp pretty hard. And this part isn't under a lot of stress, so it shouldn't really, as long as you have the right size fuel line, it shouldn't pop off. But anyway, I'm going to put a little fuel in here, put this back on, and see if I can find the leak. And I have this labeled off and on. That's on. All the gas is leaked out, so let's put it on reserve. Oh, there is no reserve. No reserve on this. It's either off or on. Okay. I'm going to fill it up with some gas. I'm going to shut it off first. And we'll see if we can get this thing to leak. Be right back. It's interesting. Give it a little bit of agitation. Nothing at all. Okay. Well, that's cool. It'd be cool if I didn't have to really fix anything or take this thing apart, but I'm going to finish topping it off. I guess if it's not leaking, I'm going to put it back together and see if I can get it to start. And then I'll also charge up my... This is the exciting part, at least for me. I have a capacitor battery that I made a long time ago. I was really early to jump on this concept. I know I'm not the only one. Ever since I was a kid, I had always dreamed about this when you first start learning about electronic components and stuff. And you learn that a capacitor is basically a small battery. But capacitors don't go bad like batteries. And if we could ever create capacitors, that could work like lead-acid batteries, that would be great. But so here's... a capacitor battery that, I purchased the caps a long time ago. These are 500 farad caps. This is really cool. I just noticed this. It's a rat carburetor. Never saw one of them before, and it looks like it's got the key-in little star there. So anyway, this little rat carburetor leaked the whole tank of gasoline on me before, and now it's not acting up, but it is all back together. And yeah, there's the chokes working. The governor throttle thing seems to be working good. I got the fuel line hooked up. I added these washers so there'd be a little more tension on it, since I don't have the plastic cover on it. Let's see, I'm going to turn the fuel on, and I'm going to have another look at this. I don't understand why it's not leaking gasoline, but I really am happy about it. And yeah, that's awesome that there isn't something else to fix here at the moment. I'm sure there is. We'll see if I can get this thing to start and run. But for now, it looks like it's good. I think I'm going to leave the gasoline on it while I charge the capacitor battery up, and we'll see if there any more leaks develop. So catch you guys in the next one. Gotta love it when this happens. There, all better. Oh my god, that's awesome. So I had this plugged in ahead of time, and the way these new battery chargers work, if they don't detect any voltage, they won't turn on. So that's really impressive. I don't know how long it's been since I've used this, but there was enough power in it for the battery charger to turn on and start charging it. Alrighty, I guess I can unplug this. The battery charger for now. Everything's such a mess. Anyway, I got the cap bank kind of tied into the ground on that side. I'm about ready to put the positive lead on. And as you can see, this is a horribly dangerous setup. I'm not even... Well, there's no spark there. That's good. So yeah, these wires aren't exactly gonna make the best contact, so hopefully this works. We'll see. And I haven't started this thing up in the longest time. Definitely haven't started it since I've been out here. There's the chokes on. The gas is on. And let's see. Looks super simple, right? Just push the button and go. Ooh, pretty impressive. That little cap bank definitely turns this thing over. But definitely didn't want to start. This thing should start right up. And it is on a little bit of an angle. It's not exactly level. But I have a funny feeling I'll be rebuilding this carburetor. I've rebuilt it twice already. You know, there was no gas in it, and I like to keep the gas on, so I think it dried up, and now it's not gonna... That float isn't gonna work right. But let's give it another shot. Ooh. Looks like the poor little cap bank is done. I'm going to have to recharge it to give it another shot. So I'm going to charge it up and give this one more shot before I call it a day. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Awesome. I was really worried I was going to have to rebuild this carburetor, but yeah, I just put my hand over top of it and it looks like it pulled whatever was clogging up the carburetor right through. And after running it for a little bit, it's running good again. So it's getting a little late in the shop. I'm gonna call it a day. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.